is a composite material comprising of concrete, sand, water in reasonable extent. The compound cooperation among concreting and water ties the total. New solid will be plastic with the goal that it tends to be formed to any ideal shape and compacted to frame a thick mass. Cement ought to be put in a situation before it begins losing its versatility. This time at which concrete totally lost its versatility and turned into be a hard is known as the loss setting sectional cement. Need to find out the initial and last setting of the concreting. Look at here. Introductory and last setting season of concreting. Curing of concrete. Relieving assumes an indispensable job in a solid quality term of events and its strength. In the wake of adding water to the solid blend, that is cement, sand and aggregates, the exothermic response, hydration, what we call it as, happens, which causes the solid to solidify. Solidifying of cement isn't a moment and proceeds for a more extended period, which requires more measure of water for preparing hydration. Among these lines, the solid kept clammy until the hydration response in concreting finishes. This procedure is called as the restoring of the cement. Or on the other hand, curing is a procedure wherein the solid kept clammy to shield it from the loss of dampness because of climatic temperature and hydration responses. Or then again, relieving is a way towards controlling the rate and degree of dampness misfortune from concreting during concreting hydration. Curing of concrete. The response among concrete and water is called hydration. It is an exothermic response, the response which delivers heat. Subsequent to adding water to the solid blend, hydration begins, which makes the solid to dry out rapidly because of an exothermic response which it delivers heat. To finish this hydration procedure, concreting is kept damp to accomplish the most extreme quality of a concreting as quickly as time permits. As there are numerous much of the time post inquiries about the relieving of cement, the following are some of them. Method of curing concreting. Depleting water on the solid surface fixes the solid. Water cooler than 5 degrees centigrade isn't reasonable for curing a concrete. As the hydration response in concrete removes warmth and keep concreting warm, using cold water under 5 degrees centigrade on cement may prompt splitting and falling flat. Exchange drying and wetting on the solid surface causes volumetric changes in concrete and it at last prompts breaking. Concreting curing period. What is the period of concrete curing? The minimum period for a curing concreting to attain the maximum strength is 28 days. For a clear understanding, check the below graph. From the graph, it is clear that concreting attained 50% of the design strength when it is cured for 3 to 7 days. 75% of concreting strength achieved in 14 days. 90% of concreting strength achieved in 28 days. So it is clear as time increases on the concreting strength is also increased. The detail of the strength increases shown in the graph is here. Least curing time for concrete. The early quality of cement is generally significant and is liable for a definite quality of the cement. We ought to do legitimate restoring by thinking about the natural condition, sort of auxiliary individuals, environmental temperatures. Keeping up the best possible temperature likewise assumes an imperative job in concreting as referred. It ought not to be colder than 5 degrees centigrade. Concreting is stayed wet for at any rate for 28 days. These days, because of absence of the time, the relieving can be accomplished by following current methods in 14 to 20 days. All things are considered, it is consistently prudent to save solid soggy for at any rate of 14 days. According to IS 456, concreting ought to be cured not less than 7 days for a customary Portland cement, and it must be at any event 10 days for concrete with mineral admixture or a mixed concrete. In the event of sweltering climate and borne by temperature conditions, the curing ought to be not less than 10 days for OPC and for 14 days concrete and mineral curing methods. The curing time of a period of concreting is dependent upon the following factors: specified strength of the concrete, grades of concrete, atmospheric temperature. Due to the chemical reaction between cement and water, in concreting releases heat which requires water to complete hydration. In summer, 50% of water is evaporated, so more amount of water is needed during sunny days. Size and the shape of the concreting method. Concreting curing methods. Bonding. This method adapted for a floor slab. The concreting surface divided into small segments and made as a ponds. These ponds are filled with water for continuously for 14 days. The image of the ponding has been shown below. Bed covers. This kind of technique performed for segments, footings, and the base surface of section where ponding is preposterous. Impermeable covers like gunny sacks or azine are required to cover the solid. These films splashed with water to keep the solid sodden. See, this is the way how the Asan cloth cover the concreting and we do the curing at the site. Layer curing of concrete. Providing ponding isn't appropriate at the spots where the air temperature are high. Water gets vanished because of the unreasonable warmth. Layer relieving is relieved to forestall the loss of water content because of barometric temperature from the concrete. Film relieving assists seal with offing by framing an impermeable layer on the solid surface, which in the long run opposes dissipation. This system is for the most part performed by brushing or splashing the resort compound on the solid surfaces. The image of layer curing concreting has been shown below. Acrylic curing compound. Acrylic curing compound is a polymer-based relieving compound got from the polymers of acrylic corrosive. The best piece of acrylic-based restoring compound is there is no compelling reason to evacuate this compound for putting. Acrylic assists with accomplishing fantastic attachment to putting. This is the methodology of using the acrylic curing compound in the construction. Steam curing. This method is received at a precast solid plant where the solid individuals are mass delivered. Steam has heat dampness in it and it is splashed on the solid surface to keep solid dampness and furthermore expands the solid temperature, which is in the end relieves the piece of solidifying concreting. See how the steam concreting has been done. The image will be the outside air will be 10 degrees centigrade. Steam applied to the enclosure at the rate of 10 to 20 degrees centigrade per hour. Temperature reduced at 20 degrees centigrade hour within 10 degrees centigrade upon outside air. Time after placing hours. Initial delay prior to steaming 3 to 5 hours. Temperature increase period 2 5 hours. Constant temperature period 6 to 12 hours. In the event that is vibrated appropriately, it might leave voids covering the total. That is what I call it as honeycombing. Solid honeycomb not just lessens the quality, additionally gives entry to water with thus consumed support mass. Consumption is a procedure which proceeds through fortification bars, even in a great solid. This outcome in losing hold among pores and solid, which is hazardous to security and life of the solid structure. As such, honey brush alludes to voids in concrete brought about by the motor not occupying the space between the coarse and total particles, that is mean aggregate particles. Solid honeycomb is typically observed at the section and bar intersection due to the conjunction of fortification bars which forms helpless solid concrete. Causes of honeycombing in concrete: insufficient compaction to concrete, less cover to the reinforcement bars, improper workability in concreting already set before releasing, high concreting free fall while pouring, formwork not watertight or rigid, more coarse aggregates than design mix proportion and overside aggregates, improper placement of bars at column and beams junction, addition of more water than design at the site of achieving. Cues for honeycombing the concrete: solid fall ought to be kept at least. Utilize a blend with a proper functionality for the circumstances in which it is to be put. Guarantee the blend has adequate fines to fill the voids between the coarse aggregates. Ensuring the solid is completely compacted and putting techniques limit the danger of isolation. Guarantee that the formwork is unbending, the joints are watertight, and entrances through the formwork are apparently fixed. At spot of intersection of section and pillars of concreting with carefully 20 mm and down graded aggregates ought to be utilized with marginally more water and concrete to keep away from honeycombs. Taping with a wooden mallet the sides of the covering from outside during concreting and vibrating will be limiting the honeycombs by and large in the event of segment and shaft. Utilization of more slender needles, say 25 mm vibrator at congestion. Thank you for watching this presentation. Kindly subscribe, like and share, which will motivate me for a good presentation. In case of any queries, do not hesitate to write to me. The response shall be at the earliest. Contact me at civilconclave@gmail.com or at my Telegram group, Australian Telegram group. The link has been provided below. All the pictures, images are the courtesy from the Google images. Thank you once again. Please subscribe, which will motivate me for a further good presentation. Thank you.